The movie, Love and Stitches, started with Lisa hurrying off to work when a call came in from her best friend, Abina. She picked up the call and hurriedly assured him that she was on her way. To beat time, she sped her car and ran through a pool of muddy water, ultimately splashing it on a neat and well-suited Greg. Greg got alerted and flagged her down, voicing his frustrations and how he would go to his interview looking like a muddy potato. Lisa, who is a fashion designer, however, felt really bad and offered him one of her custom-made suit. At the interview, Greg got an earful from Edwin, his potential boss, on how incompetent he might be if he was hired as his personal assistant, due to his lack of work experience. A desperate Greg kept on assuring Edwin that he was fit for the job, saying,
"I'm a first learner, sir."
Edwin, who wasn't too convinced, sent him off, telling him he had other candidates to interview and would get back to him. On his way out, Edwin caught a glimpse of his suit, and wanted to know who the designer was. Greg, who needed the job badly, thought this was his chance at getting the job fully for himself. He then made a bargain with Edwin, promising to arrange a meeting with him and the fashion designer. Back at home, Edwin was met with the presence of Uche, his elder brother. They had a little chit-chat about how Edwin didn't have food in the house and needed to have a wife ASAP. Amidst the conversation, Uche decided to talk about Jessica, Edwin's girlfriend. Apparently, Edwin had not been picking up her calls for some reason, and she had complained to Uche to help alleviate the situation. Edwin, however, wasn't having any of it when his brother told him to forgive Jessica and forget whatever she might have done to him. He blankly said he was done with the relationship and could no longer be with a girl who broke his heart by cheating with another man. The next day, Greg went to Lisa's address to return the suit and inform her about his boss's interest in having her design a suit for him. Lisa was pleased with the customer inflow and ultimately agreed to do the job. Meanwhile, Edwin was preparing for work at home when he got a call from Jessica, to which he swiftly declined. On getting downstairs, he heard a knock at the door and was met with Jessica, the one who broke his heart. He inquired about the reason she was there. Jessica, however, did not give an immediate response and proceeded to help herself inside. He asked again in a more demanding manner, "What brings you here?" Jessica then started by saying she brought him breakfast because Uche had complained that he wasn't eating well. Edwin, who appeared not to have bought the story, replied with,
"Get out of my house."
Jessica tried reasoning with him, and begged him for a second chance. He, however, didn't like the idea and told her to have some self-respect, and leave his house because whatever relationship they had was done a long time ago. His words visibly upset Jessica, who broke down in tears. An irritated Edwin proceeded to throw her out of his house by himself since she wouldn't leave. At Lisa's apartment, she was about leaving for an appointment when Abina popped out of her kitchen, complimenting her and ultimately offering her breakfast. Lisa declined, saying she was already late for her meeting. She was about leaving again when Abina called her back to tell her, "Hey Lisa, you look beautiful." A few minutes later, Lisa sat in an office, when Greg came in to inform her that Edwin will join them shortly. Soon enough, Edwin walked in, and straight up started the meeting, telling Lisa he needed custom-made designs that suit his taste, and to top it all, he arrogantly mentioned that money wasn't the problem. Lisa wasn't really vibing with Mr. Arrogant, and straight up told him that she wouldn't be making any designs for him, as she was fully booked for the year. A confused Greg tried begging Lisa to fix Edwin into her schedule, but she wasn't having any of it. She then exited the office. To say that Edwin was shocked was an understatement. He wasn't used to people saying no to him. He then transferred his anger on Greg, telling him he was fired because he couldn't even do a simple task as setting up a meeting. While Greg made his way out, he called him back and said,
"No, come back. I do not want you to go out there and spread my name telling people that I am the devil. So I am going to give you a second chance."
Thank you, sir.
Now, let's start with who the hell does that lady think she is, and why she thinks she can walk into my office and insult me in that manner? She what? Talk! Talk in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That same day, Greg went over to Lisa's and tried begging her to reconsider making the designs because his job and livelihood depended on it. Lisa, however, declined again. Getting back home, Edwin saw Jessica sitting at his home entrance. A pissed Edwin reversed his car and left, while Jessica kept begging for his attention. The next day, at the office, Greg advised Edwin to go to Lisa's workplace, to make her bend to his will, if he really wanted her to design him a suit. He found the idea entertaining and ultimately showed up at Lisa's showroom with Greg. He asked Lisa why she had refused to make a suit for him, and she simply said, she doesn't want to. They had a little back and forth, until Lisa told him to leave. At that point, Abina walked in. Greg didn't feel too good about the situation and tried to implore Lisa. Lisa, however, approached Edwin and told him to stop making everything about himself, and just give Greg the job if truly he is a good fit for it. Edwin smiled sinisterly at everyone in the room, before exiting. A confused Abina asked Lisa what the deal was with Edwin and Greg. She blankly told him that they were not important. Abina further asked if she was dating or had dated one of them. Lisa then replied with a big fat no. On their way back to the office, Edwin voiced out his frustrations over Lisa's rejection of making him a suit. He asked what the big deal was, and if he had met her before somewhere for her to hate him so much. Greg, on the other hand, kept mute. At bedtime, Lisa reminisced her high school days with Edwin, wondering how and why he couldn't even remember her. She then asked an imaginary Edwin how it feels to be at the receiving end. A couple of weeks later, Lisa got a gift delivered to her. Edwin had sent her a couple of gifts, with a card that says, "Hello Lisa, I still want the suit and I hope you change your mind soon, looking forward to rocking your design." She shook her head and talks about how he never changes and always make the world revolve around him. Few hours later, she returned the gift and told Greg to tell his boss to stay away from her, and leave her alone. Edwin, who overheard the conversation, walked up to his office balcony to see a furious Lisa, angrily staring at him, while leaving his building. Some seconds later, Greg walked into his office and Edwin told him that Lisa looked somewhat familiar to him. Greg used that opportunity to voice out his concerns about Lisa, probably having a grudge against him, and also suggested that they should look for another designer. Edwin, however, doesn't like the idea. He wanted Lisa and would go to any length to make her crack and bend to his will. That same day at the showroom, Lisa decided to tell Abina about Edwin, explaining how arrogant and rude he was. She further told him her childhood high school story, where Edwin would bully and pick on people, terming it his fun project. Edwin and his friends specifically called Lisa all sort of names because, back then in school, she would often wear nerdy glasses. They termed her Blind Bartimaeus, the ugly blind girl, among many other horrible names. To cap it all, when she decided to fight back, Edwin was 2 steps ahead of her. He made her trip and her clothes were up, exposing her underwear in front of the whole class. Due to the embarrassment and continuous bullying, she lost her self-confidence and had to change school. Abina was bewildered at this revelation. He then praised her for not making Edwin a suit, and further said he would have defended her from Edwin and his friends, if he had been in her high school. At night, at Edwin's house, Jessica is seen repeatedly knocking at the gate to be let in, but no one attended to her. She then placed a call through to Uche, telling him of the situation and how Edwin has refused to pick her calls. Uche came over to let her into the house with his spare key. Now in the sitting room, Jessica told Uche it's funny how she used to have a spare key to Edwin's house, but he took it when she cheated. She further confided in Uche that she is not the kind of girl that sleeps around, and that she didn't know what came over her. She said she regretted her actions and the man she cheated with is not even up to Edwin's standards. Their conversation ended when Edwin came back home from work. Jessica was immediately on edge, but Uche tried to make her calm down. On getting inside, Edwin didn't like Jessica's presence and with one angry look, he told Uche he needed to speak with him upstairs. He again then made it very clear to Uche more angrily, that he should stay away from his business with Jessica, that they were done and it wasn't his fault. He furiously went back downstairs to ask Jessica to leave. Jessica informed him that she came in an Uber, and it was late to go home. She further asked if she could spend the night over. Edwin replied with,
"Why are you asking me? As if that wasn't your plan in the first place." Always so dramatic. Use the guest room and be gone by morning.
At bedtime, Edwin picked up his phone, went on social media, followed and liked every post Lisa ever uploaded to her social handles. Lisa couldn't believe him, and told Abina about it. Abina, for some reason, didn't like that at all. He got all protective and told Lisa to drop her phone and eat dinner. While eating, Lisa asked Abina about the girl at his office who had a crush on him. Abina simply said, he doesn't see her but someone else. The next day, Greg came to the showroom bearing gifts from Edwin. Lisa rejected the gifts again, and when Greg was persistent, Abina butted in, and warned him off to tell his boss to stay away from Lisa. Abina started to do too much when he asked Lisa why she kept entertaining Edwin. Lisa was shocked with his attitude and asked him what his deal with the whole situation is. Abina mentioned he only cared about her, and was looking out for her. He then left angrily. Lisa was perplexed and wondered why her best friend was too overly protective. At Edwin's kitchen, Jessica wore her wife material clothes and was making breakfast for the house. Edwin walked in to get some water, and was surprised to see her there, since he had told her to vanish by morning. Jessica reasoned with him to allow her make breakfast before leaving. At the table, Jessica was dramatic again. Not only did she call Edwin by an endearment, she volunteered to serve him more food and extra chicken, stating it was his favorite. At this point, Edwin has had enough. He spelled it out to her again that they had been done for good, and the sooner she accepts that, the better for her. Losing his appetite, he thanked her for breakfast and walked away. Jessica asked Uche why he wasn't interfering, and he told her she messed it up, when instead of talking about their broken relationship, she opted for the girlfriend who serves an angry ex-boyfriend more food and chicken, with a lovey-dovey attitude. It seemed Uche was also upset with Jessica because he soon walked away too, and left his food behind. In Edwin's room, Uche came in to apologize for always interfering in his and Jessica's relationship, and promised to fix things up with Jessica. Back at the table, Uche told Jessica she had to put herself together and give Edwin some space. She wasn't buying that idea, and said she would commit suicide. Edwin overheard this, and rolled his eyes, calling her a drama queen. At Lisa's apartment, she could be heard telling Abina that she had decided to finally make a suit for Edwin. Abina wasn't too happy with the news, because she had bailed out on their trip, due to Edwin's custom suit design. Back at Edwin's office, Lisa came for his suit measurements, and he asked her to a drink, to which she declined. Before leaving, she bade Greg goodbye. Greg, who was smiling from ear to ear, was happy that finally, his boss got to have what he had always wanted. Edwin, on the other hand, wasn't too happy with Greg's happiness, and so he said,
"Wipe that stupid smile off your face."
Later that night, Edwin started a friendly chat with Lisa. She, however, didn't reply immediately, but when she did, she informed him that his suit was obviously not ready, and asked him if he needed her to sing him a lullaby, so he could find some sleep. Well, yet again, Mr. Arrogant laughed at Lisa's reply, and intentionally left her chat hanging with no further reply. A couple of weeks later, Lisa delivered the suit to Edwin at his home. Luckily it was a perfect fit and Mr. Arrogant had nothing to complain about. He offered to take Lisa to lunch, but she yet again declined, saying she was there strictly for business and not to spark up a relationship. However, she soon changed her mind and accepted his lunch offer. When Lisa leaves, Mr. Arrogant turns on Greg yet again.
What is it, nosy? What are you doing? Go find something to do.
Something like what, sir?
Anything. Mop the floor if you must.
Miss Lisa is actually pretty and nice, don't you think?
And you are about to lose your job, don't you think?
I'll go check out some plumbing.
I thought so. He's right. She's pretty, but very stubborn. And hardworking.
Lisa was preparing for lunch when she got a call from Abina. She asked him about his vacation and how he was enjoying his stay. Abina inquired about her business with Edwin. She told him he was satisfied with the suit and also mentioned that he invited her for lunch. Abina was silent on the other end of the line, and by the time he replied, he cancelled his vacation and promised to jump on the next available flight back home. When Lisa asked why, he said he had some office work to catch up on. At lunch, things were going well, until Mr. Arrogant decided to ask Lisa about Abina, saying he sees him often around her. Even after Lisa explained to him that Abina was her longtime best friend from the university, Edwin didn't buy that story and insinuated that it is not possible for a lady to have a guy as a best friend without some sort of intimacy being involved. An upset Lisa picked up her bag to leave, while Edwin tried to right his wrongs and said he just wanted to know her more. Lisa didn't take his word for it, and blankly told him that her private life is private and he of all people shouldn't pry. Back at home, Edwin poured his anger and frustrations on Uche. When Uche inquired what the matter was, Edwin explained that he was having a tough time over some girl. Uche was amazed at how the table has turned and started laughing at Edwin's plight. Edwin asked what was funny, and Uche told him that he thought the day would never come, when a woman would reject him. Uche was having so much fun with this, and decided to piss him off further by asking for dinner. An annoyed Edwin just walked away. Back at Lisa's house, Abina told Lisa not to go on dates with Edwin, because he was going to hurt her just like he did to her, back then in high school. He then told her to tell Edwin who she is, and how he bullied her in school. Lisa simply reassured Abina that Edwin wouldn't hurt her, and there was no need to rekindle the past. But then again, on a second thought, Lisa felt Abina could be right about Edwin being the same arrogant bully she knew, and decided to avoid him for good. Back at the office, Edwin kept on calling Lisa's phone but she wouldn't pick up. As early as 6 a.m. the next day, Edwin and Greg made their way to Lisa's apartment. In the compound they noticed Abina's car. Edwin asked Greg why a man like Abina would be in Lisa's house so early on a Sunday morning. Greg, however, replied by saying they were also doing the same thing. Edwin got defensive and told him to shut up and go knock at the door. Lisa came out and asked them to leave. She shut the door in their faces, and Abina, who happened to have heard the conversation, asked what Mr. Arrogant wanted. Lisa then replied with,
What does he want this time?
I don't know. He just acts like a crazy person.
The next day, a persistent Edwin sent his personal assistant to go deliver another set of gifts to Lisa. This time she accepted them. Greg, however, smiled and told her he knows she loves his boss, just as much as he loves her. She responded with a surprised look, like someone eventually caught her red-handed. Later that night, Lisa finally decided to go to dinner with Edwin, after much persuasion. She asked him what exactly he wanted from her, and he said he likes her and wanted her to go out with him. In the midst of their conversation, Abina called, sounding worried on the phone. Lisa and Edwin then left dinner to go see what the issue was with Abina. On getting home, a panicked Lisa asked Abina what the issue was. Abina, who wasn't too happy seeing Edwin, said he had a minor accident with a careless driver. Edwin didn't buy his story, and asked him why he was at Lisa's place instead of a police station, reporting the situation. The two men almost got into a fight, but Lisa interfered. Abina dragged Lisa into the room for a chat. He asked her why she was hanging out with the guy they both despised. Lisa said they only went for a friendly dinner, and whatever happened between she and Edwin at her high school was in the past, advising Abina to also let it go. Back in the sitting room, Abina was still waiting for Lisa. He free-mindedly asked her to be his girl, telling her he wanted her for himself and also wanted her to want him back. Lisa promised to think about it. Abina peeked into the parlor and caught them sharing a little laugh. Edwin noticed Abina's presence, and decided to take it a step further by kissing Lisa on the cheek. When Lisa asked him why he did that, he said,
What was that for?
Show off. I should get going.
The next day at Lisa's showroom, Abina walked in and kissed Lisa. Lisa was shocked. Abina revealed that he had always loved her, and can't stand seeing her with another man. Lisa then broke the news of Edwin being her first love. She had always had a crush on him, despite his continuous bullying in school, but she couldn't have him for herself because he wouldn't spare her a glance. So, she hated him for that. But now, he is a changed person and she still loves him, and would date him. Abina wasn't too pleased with this revelation. He told her to tell Edwin whom she is, and remind him of what he did to her long time ago, to see if he would still want her. Lisa agreed and said if she did and it doesn't change a thing, would Abina allow the situation, and still remain her bestie. Abina blankly refused and said he couldn't compete with her first love, and would rather love her from afar. The next day at Edwin's house, Lisa told Edwin who she was, giving him pictures from their high school days. Edwin was beyond shocked that Lisa was the girl he had hauled all manner of insults at, in school. He apologized for his actions and told her he loves her regardless even more now. Lisa also professed her love and they shared a kiss, and the movie ended. Moral of the story is, say no to bullying. The world is so small that you might meet your victims again and it might not end well with you. Drop your own moral lesson in the comments. Like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.